Try this out one more time. Dragonshire. Team Conflict versus Late Game, though. And we're going to get some of the stuff moved. Get our alerts moved. And I know it's poor production value, ladies and gentlemen. Actually, no, you know what? I can do this in studio mode. You don't have to see me clown fiestaing it up here. So we are going back to the Tassadar ban. Right out the gate. And the Garrosh ban coming back out in response. No big shocker there. All right, I think we got it. I think we got a better format here for it. Yeah, I like it. All right. We'll move that in a little bit. Actually, you know what? I think that's probably better centered, isn't it? What do you guys think? Feel free to tell me in the comments. I do like the chatter. I promise. But yeah, anyway, let's get this posted up so everybody knows that we're broadcasting here, shall we? Greymane, the pickup here for side of Team Conflict. A pretty good all-around hero. I like the early Greymane pickup. Not only is he a really solid, versatile hero, but he also does a really nice job of not showing what you're trying to do for your team squad. So that's a really good way to approach it first. All the while, we got Malthael and Anna coming in. I really like the Anna combo with Malthael. It can be really difficult for supports to be able to help out these heroes that really like to dive, really like to be mobile. But Anna does a nice job of being able to heal from a distance, giving Malthael just a little bit of extra sustained power, which he already gives a lot of it right to himself. So that's so that's something a little bit extra for him to have here. Meanwhile, we do see the response here, Anubarak and Brightwing. So the side of Team Conflict bringing a little bit of CC to be able to follow up all that damage coming in from the Greymane. Brightwing also a really good counter to the Malthael. Also having the web wrap can be a really, really nice tool to be able to use against that Malthael once he does pop his ultimate at level 10 at Tormenting Souls, doing a lot of extra damage, getting a lot of extra sustained. If you can web wrap him and take him out of that for a little while, you can let the storm pass and come in after that. Bracket that up. All right. I think we're all caught up, ladies and gentlemen. Took us a bit to get rolling tonight, but want to thank both these teams for their patience. Much appreciated. You guys as well out there in the Twitch universe. Meanwhile, we're going to see the Muradin band coming out from the side of Team Conflict. You know, I do like the Muradin ban. I do think that he's a good cohort here for Malthael. Able to jump in and help in that dive potential.
I stand ready.
A light abandons no man.
Dahaka also banned out there from late game, though, so denying the further global ability, what Team Conflict's already built, with that global coming in from Brightwing. Meanwhile, we will see the Uther and Vala pick up here, so looking at the hyper carry Vala here as their main carry. Malthael, of course, does a lot of damage, but Vala from that backside can really start tearing into people, especially when you do have that double support. Not really the standard that you would expect for the Vala to receive here with the Ana and the Uther supporting, but you know, could end up working. We'll have to see how that ends up synergizing. Ooh, Zagara picked up here for the side of Team Conflict. So they've got their solo lane. That's going to be going to the top lane. Zagara is something very hard to contend with, especially for melee-oriented heroes like Malthael, which should be the solo laner for the side of late game, though. I do like that. I do like that matchup. Malthael does have decent wave clear, but ultimately, because Zagara does have that the range ability, it can be difficult for Malthael to be able to deal with if you can't get onto the Zagara. And when Zagara's on that creep, it can be pretty difficult to be able to keep up with the Zagara, that extra attack range, the extra run speed. And Lucio also going to add some run speed to the entire side of Team Conflict. So both these teams going double support. Diablo to round it out for late game, though. And Diablo is a pretty strong hero yet again to be able to really dive in. You know, they didn't have the option of doing the Muradin because it was banned here by Team Conflict, but Diablo also a very divey hero, going to be trying to get into the back, get some disruption, especially after they get that that talent at 13. If they can get that Shadow Charge quest finished, can really start getting some solid displacement, trying to focus on some of the damage, primarily Greymane. You know, if you can get to the Greymane and you take him out early in these team fights, there's not really a whole lot else over on the side of Team Conflict in deciding to go after the Zagara. You know, you get good solid split pressure and you get a good solo laner, but Zagara does not contribute very much to the team fighting. The global ability can be really, really nice here on Dragonshire, but it can be a detriment when you come to the end of the game and you really want to go at it 5v5. But we are loading in here to Dragonshire. On the left, Team Conflict. Snarky Tiger going to be playing the Zagara. Takinami going to be on the Lucio. Giant Dwarf on the Brightwing. Quantaga going to be playing the Anubarak. And Mikhailin is going to be on the Greymane. On the right, late game though, going to be Hobbles on the Uther. Hype Curtis is going to be on Ana. McCrackazak, there we go, on the Diablo. We're going to have Robin Wiss on the Vala, and Troth is going to be playing the Malthael. We are going to see Zagara starting to set up in that top lane. Is going to instantly get out that Baneling quest at 1. Going to have some extra siege damage pressure onto these structures. And I believe it's also to minions, I want to say. Let's see. Yeah, for all non-hero damage. So it will help clear the waves quicker. It'll apply to the camps. But look at the rotation in here. From late game, though, they get a ton of damage onto Snarky Tiger. He's going to have to back up. Takes a ton of heat. Giant Dwarf actually going to phase shift up to try and give a little extra support back.
This is going to hurt.
Hype Curtis on the Ana. This is apparently going to hurt. I don't know how much, but really, it's really going to hurt. All the while, both teams starting to rotate out, starting to get some balance here. We're going to see the side of Team Conflict prioritizing the bot lane. Going to have 3 down here to be able to capture themselves a shrine in the top lane. 2 members of late game, though, going to be able to try to counter the push of Zagara. With Malthael in the bottom lane, you are going to have to double up on this Zagara, or else it's going to be a bad time. But that's going to leave a 2v3 mismatch in the bottom. So right now, late game though, searching for the answer, not quite finding it just yet. The cocktail coming in from Mikhailin. almost getting the pick there. But we will see the back there. And be able to get Malthael out of there. But look at the push pressure here. You know, Greymane, one of the things that not a whole lot of people talk about with Greymane is the siege damage potential. He's a good all-around hero, but one thing he really brings is the ability to just crush it in the siege damage department when he's able to keep that inner beast active. But when you dive on him like this, it doesn't really matter much. Michaelan getting knocked down, dragged out, 4-man rotation from late game though, and they are going to end up getting first blood here in the bottom lane with that pick out onto Greymane, and McCrackazak going to be charging in there. I'm not sure if it's Crackazak and he's just supposed to be on a team labeled MC, or if it is McCrackazak, but either way, nice charge in there. Be able to put some extra pressure on the bot lane, stalling out while Hype Curtis is able to capture the first Dragon Knight of the game here in the mid lane. Late game though, putting some pressure on the mid. Troth getting very low, but yet again, some nice peels coming in from Zach. Zach. 4-man rotation, trying to follow the Dragon Knight, trying to stop Hype Curtis from getting too much value, but they have already gotten the front wall down, and now we're just going to get started here on this front wall in the bot lane. Check in on Zag up here. Seeing not a whole lot of progress. You know, Robin Wiss doing a nice job here of keeping that under wraps for the moment. We'll see Anna coming on out of that Dragon Knight. We do get the one of the towers in the bot lane. But overall, pretty even on the XP. Not seeing too much of an advantage on either side. A little bit of a structural advantage in a couple of these lanes. Over to the side of late game, though, because of that Dragon Knight. But in the bottom lane, we did see earlier that Team Conflict had gotten quite a bit of pressure. Meanwhile, Troth coming in, trying to take down Sneaky Tiger. Giant Dwarf with the phase shift, not quite able to come in time. And meanwhile, Giant Dwarf electing to not select these talents at 4 and 7. A very interesting decision. I think Phase Shield there at 7 could have saved Zagara. So we do see it is indeed going to be Peekaboo coming in at level 7, but we see them kind of holding those picks. Gotta wonder if that's on purpose or not. We see that sometimes in the pro scene when they're trying to wait to see whether they want to counter something, but I don't know if I really see that at level 7 too much. Maybe waiting on whether or not he's gonna need to cleanse is the only thing I can really think of here. And there it is. It's gonna decide to go with the cleanse. With the with the Uther and the Diablo on the other side, not a bad idea. Same thing with Anna, with the sleeps she could put out here. Can be helpful. Meanwhile, 3v3 in the bot lane. They're able to clear up those giants before they get too much value. While the Holy Trinity, Vala plus 2 healers, able to really be able to put out some nice pressure. But, you know, it's not a bad combo on the other side either. You have a lot of CC coming out from Quantaga. There we go. Both teams slowly making their way towards level 10. Just a slight XP advantage right now for late game, though. Meanwhile, Mick Krakazak going in deep to get Braywing. Able to get the pick on out, but now it's going to be in all kinds of trouble here with Greymane and Lucio. Going to be able to get the counter pick there. Diablo did not have the souls just yet. Ooh, just barely missing the sleep dart there. Hype Curtis. And Malthael falling in the top lane. A little bit aggressive onto Snarky Tiger. We do see the level 10s coming in, and right away we're gonna see the Nidus Network coming out. Help Zagara get a little bit of healing power up here. Now we do see a bit of a skirmish here in the mid as Team Conflict trying to go ahead and pick up this Dragon Knight. Gonna have to pressure away the healers here. And we do see Diablo recapturing the top. I mean, Crack is that gonna deny the Dragon Knight for the moment. Snarky Tiger's gonna do what he can to try and pressure here, but Diablo should be able to sustain for quite a while up here. Able to at least deter from seeing that Dragon Knight come out. All the while, we do have a camp pushing in the bot lane. You see that the Knights have been picked up down there. That's going to start putting some pressure on that bottom fort. That's late game, though. Cannot afford to ignore. We do see the strafe coming out here from Robinwis. So not electing for the additional CC. We're also seeing a surprise that's going to be Nano Boost coming out from Hype Curtis. While along with the Divine Shield, just a little bit extra sustain power. Probably focused towards the Malthael, but, you know, anybody could end up benefiting from that one. We do see Web Wrap. Emerald Wind. Go for the throat coming out here from McKalen. For that extra mobility. Something that you wouldn't normally see against a Diablo player. You would think the Cursed Bullet would be a really nice way to be able to try to chunk somebody down. Like the Diablo with all the health that they do have. Meanwhile, on the chase here is late game, though. They chase them right into the mid lane. D-Shield coming out with the Tormented Souls. And all of a sudden, late game, though, diving in. And we're going to have to see the Sound Barrier come out to save Lucio. They're gonna be able to chase them out of here. But Diablo gonna end up going down in the top lane. Yet again, Snarky Tiger getting the better of that exchange in the top lane. Don't mess with Zagara. That's what we're starting to learn here. Well, Captain Wedge, I do believe that earlier it was said in the chat that it's all about the memes in Div C. But I do think both of these teams certainly going to be giving it their all tonight for us. Just a couple matches left in Div C before the playoffs start. So every match potentially very important for both of these teams. Every point counts at this point in the season. McCrackazak charging in. It's a lot of damage down onto Quantakwa. You guys got some names. You guys got some names. I'll tell you right now. You see Troth, our lovely Malthael player with the easy name to pronounce. Gotta love that. Down in the bottom lane here. Capturing the shrine back. Oh, Robinwis here. Cornered by Giant Dwarf and Snarky Tiger. Rakazak not quite going to be able to help Avala out of that situation. Kill count's pretty even here, 4-3 so far in this one. Slight structural advantage going over to the side of Team Conflict, mostly in the bottom lane. But neither team's really been able to take much of an advantage yet in this one. No big swings in momentum. One Dragon Knight picked up a little bit earlier. Both teams going to trade out these shrines for the moment. Rakazak does end up finding that Nidus network, but Snarky Tiger is not going to have any of that. Meanwhile, in the mid lane, big fight breaking out. But we do see the sound barrier coming out here from Takanami, and they're going to be able to pressure down Troth quite a lot, but does get the last second heals on in. Hype Curtis going to have to rotate out through the top. In the top lane, McCrackazak pushing Snarky Tiger back here. But how long can he keep that Zagara at bay? Malthael, though, falling in the mid lane. In the mid lane? I don't know. I can't find his corpse, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to admit it. I don't know where Malthael was, but I do know that he died. Meanwhile, we just see the charge in and CC coming out onto McCrackazak. He's going to have to back out. There'll be a couple seconds here where it's available, but in the bottom lane, we see the rotation from late game, though. They're going to take back that shrine. Gonna give an opportunity for some siege pressure here. All 5 members up in this top lane. And Team Conflict seeing this mismatch up here in the top, they're going to take advantage of it. Between the Greymane and the Zagara, they have a ton of siege pressure. And they are going to take advantage of that, quickly take down the top fort, get themselves closer to the 16 talent tier. Meanwhile, in the bot lane, we do see a couple of siege giants rolling out into that bottom lane. A little skirmish in the mid, but for right now, late game though, knowing that they do not have the 16 talent tier, they need to get that before they really want to get aggressive here against Team Conflict. They're going to try to rotate up though, pressure Giant Dwarf away, and look at the sleep dart here. The follow-up's going to be there. No healing, interrupt on the Emerald Wind from McCrackazak, and that's going to be a big pick at this juncture. Going to get them very close to 16. Going to give them the opportunity to cancel here. McCrackazak actually popping that Apocalypse just in case somebody was in the mid casting. Smart move there. Turns out that nobody was, but all the while it's going to give them the opportunity to grab 16. Still rolling around as 4, so they don't get outnumbered, but they will send Troth up to the top lane here. Go ahead and pick up that top shrine and alleviate the threat of that Dragonite being captured. All the while, little skirmish in the mid lane. Not going to see much coming out from that, but we do have the camp starting to push up in the top lane. And it looks like all 5 members are going to rotate up to this top lane where Zagara is, and they are going to be able to get to her before she's able to get into the Dragonite, but the Emerald Wind trying to zone out and give her a little room, but Snarky Tiger going in the wrong direction here. But the rotation coming in from Team Conflict. Many members of late game, though, are starting to get low on health. D-Shield popped on to Uther, on Hobbles to himself here. Froth is going to go ahead and pop the Tormented Souls, but the response is good with that Web Wrap to be able to use up the entire duration there. We do see the Sound Barrier coming out. And, but still, many members pretty low here. The sustained healing is barely keeping Takanami alive. Both teams gonna end up walking away from this. So that is gonna allow Team Conflict go ahead and grab the shrine. Krakazak does rotate in time to be able to block the Dragon Knight. Giant Dwarf phase shifting in to try and help Kantwaga get out of that. Emerald Wind going to separate the side of late game though. Hobble's getting very low, and he may end up going down here. Does not have the mana to do any more healing, but will end up tapping that well, making it back to safety. However, Snarky Tiger going to sneak his way back on up to that Dragon Knight and capture it. And here we are, 15 minutes in, second Dragon Knight. And I'm going to see the side of Team Conflict looking to make some conflict here in the bot lane, as they've already opened up the fort area. We're looking towards the front wall of this keep. They are getting closer and closer to level 20. They don't really have the ability to split soak out at the moment. They really just want to siege in here into the bottom, which I really like this call. Definitely a good priority lane here on Dragachire is this bot lane. So they will go ahead and get started on it. The front wall will fall down. Over half the health gone already from the Dragon Knight, though, as they just barely have gotten started on this keep. But it is starting to chunk it down a little bit. Again, good siege pressure here, but we will see the response. As late game, though, jumping in, we will see the Web Wrap coming out onto Malthael once again, counter engage. Coming in, Apoc is going to end up hitting 3, cleansed out onto McKalen, though, to be able to keep him rolling. The Sleep Dart and the Displacement onto Lucio. He will be the first to fall here, and now late game, though, is on the chase. They go in, they get the Zagara kill. They are going after McKalen. We'll try to jump out with that Dark Flight onto the wall, but will he be able to make it out here? The 3-man stun is just barely going to give him enough room, and McKalen will make it out somehow. But overall, a 2-for-1 or 2-for-nothing exchange. Late game though, able to push them back. Maybe Team Conflict's overstaying just a little bit there, but they did want to try to force the issue once they got that very nice web wrap down on to the Malthael once again. We are not seeing the Tormented Souls getting much value. That's been a nice counter strategy here for the side of late game though. Well, in the bottom lane, we do see this camp captured. They're going to send the Ana up to the top lane to start clearing up there. Right, Kitten has decided to join me on the cast, ladies and gentlemen. Everybody say hello to you, Sarah. Nope, okay. Yeah, I didn't think she'd say anything. That's all right. Meanwhile, we do see the camp being captured in response here, but level 20 is now online for the side of Team Conflict, and they should be looking to try and get something going here with this level 20 advantage. They've got a little over a full level lead at this point, and do definitely have the opportunity to try and force the issue on grabbing this Dragon Knight. We do have the camps moving towards the top. They'll be meeting each other soon. Side of late game though, going to rotate down and clear all of this, but here comes Team Conflict. They are going to get the charge in from Quanton. 2-man stun with the drill there, instantly throwing the web wrap out on Malthael. Does still have the Tormented Souls to pop coming out of this, but right now late game though is not thinking offense. They are thinking retreat. We will see the Tormented Souls popped, and look at the damage coming out from Trop. He's going to be able to take down Lucio, Emerald Wind, and the Continuous Wind, trying to zone the members off. But overall, a 4-for-1 exchange. They do get the Vala, but they lose everybody but Anubarak. Taratha will be able to stick to Anubarak, and a full team wipe. Coming out for late game, though, somehow turning around on that and destroying them, even though they were down the level 20. And I think it all really comes down to that web wrap. Very early web wrap though, and when he came out, he still had that Tormented Souls with the level 16 upgrade. Mento Mori, just a ridiculous amount of extra damage, and especially with the percentage-based damage, it's just kind of silly how strong Malthael gets after that 16. Pretty much on the dime there, able to turn that around and take that without the level 20 Storm talents. Really, really impressive recognition there from late game, though. And I like that they're stalling this capture. They want to get the Vala alive. They're putting pressure in every lane, softening these up so that they can keep the Dragon Knight. I will say, though, that with the Dragon Knight duration, they could have still captured that and use the Dragon Knight for a little bit of siege potential in an off lane, either the top or bottom, without really taking any extra damage while they waited for the Vala to come up. But I do like the overall idea of preserving the Dragon Knight for the final push here. They are pushing through the mid, and they do still have plenty of duration here. So you got to give them a lot of credit for that. Still over 50 seconds to do whatever they want with this. It is down to 30% though, and they do walk it right into the core. That's going to start taking a lot of heat from the core, and it is going to slowly end up falling down here, but so are the shields. Polymorph coming on to Mikrakazak, and he's going to be caught out maybe a little bit too deep. The Apok not going to be able to get him out. He does have the souls to return. But now, the side of Team Conflict is on the chase, and with the Lucio speed, do have the ability to really stick to them here. Can they make it back to the mid-fort? Trough is going to end up getting CC'd and slowed, and Emerald Winded. The Continuous Winds not going to let him through, and that's going to end up being a second kill going over to the side of Team Conflict. And now it is their turn. They are marching towards the bot lane, and they may try to end here. Without Malthael having that ability to come back to life. Definitely took that different level 20 talent. And now it is Team Conflict's turn. Do they have enough to be able to get the end of this game here? They had opened up the bottom part of this map earlier, And they do start on the core. They do have it down to 90%. The web wrap coming out onto Valda, the sound barrier. Going to help them be able to sustain this. And they are pushing 30%, 25%. Lucio falls 5%. And that is going to be it. Team Conflict taking game one here on Dragonshire. Able to turn that from maybe a little bit overzealous pursuit there. From late game, though. Nice chase through the mid. They get that one pick, and that's enough to earn them the victory here in game number one. All right. So game number two, I do believe, is going to be on Tomb of the Spider Queen. Pay no attention to my extremely low Hero League rating. We don't need to... wait a minute. There we go. Pre-game. Yeah, we got it. We got it. Still a little rusty on the obs stuff, but we're getting there. I think we are going to Tomb of the Spider Queen, if I remember correctly. I will get this game two rolling for you guys as soon as we have a chance to. Get everything swapped over. All right. Both teams filing on into the lobby here. Really exciting game one there. Both of those teams definitely had the opportunity to win that. I felt like it was pretty evenly matched. Both teams had a good solid plan for how to approach that map. And, you know, again, it just comes down to that, as it often does in Heroes of the Storm, comes down to that last team fight. And once the side of Team Conflict had opened up that, the ability for, you know, open up that bottom keep. They only needed to win one team fight, and in that case, they really only needed a pick on Malthael to be able to really open that up for them. So, not surprised to see that. Surprised to see that strategy coming out, and then being able to pay that off there. Like we got one more member that we are waiting on here for the side of late game, though, and then we will be good to go. Yeah, it was. It was a crazy close game. All right. Looks like we got everybody. Just confirm with both these teams that we're ready. Yes, we still have the delay. Still there. All right. Hey, I don't mind. I don't mind that we're just making sure. It works out. All right. And game number two, going to go to Tomb of the Spider Queen. Team Conflict able to grab that first victory. We're going to see late game, though. Trying to tie this up. We'll see if all these points are going over to Team Conflict before we calculate out who makes the playoffs and where all the seeding is. I think we got one more match tomorrow night if I looked at the schedule. If I interpreted the schedule correctly, they got one more match tomorrow night. And then that will be it for the C Division season, and they will be ready to seed those playoffs. Looking forward to Monday night. I'm going to see if I can pick up any games for Monday night. Because Tuesday night, I'm going to be flying out to BlizzCon, so rest of the week will be kind of a wash, but playoffs are going to be going on. Something I'm going to try to keep an eye on here in the NGS. Hope everybody else does too. Hope everybody else is as excited for the HGC as I am. No spoilers. I didn't get to watch the end of that match with Roll20, so because I'm here casting, so nobody spoil it for me. But we'll see the Garrosh and Tassadar bands coming out. Pretty standard here from both of these teams. Late game, though, going to start it out with a very standard Sonya pick here. Sonya has been prioritized pretty high by a lot of teams lately. I feel like she's a good all-around hero. Qualifies for that second, the secondary bruiser type warrior. Does a lot of damage. Is a solid solo laner. Takes camps really well. And just overall, I think of Sonya a lot like I think of Greymane. You could just kind of fit Sonya into any comp, anytime, and it's never a bad pick. It can be countered. There are a couple of decent counters out there. High CC. Good mobility can be a counter to Sonya. But the Zol coming out here from Team Conflict. So getting spicy right off the bat here. And prioritizing the wave clear is Team Conflict. And that's definitely how I think of it here. The one of the main things you really want on Tomb of the Spider Queen is that wave clear, especially if you can rotate it around and do a good job of putting pressure in that mid and top lane. You can really start to get an early lead, and Zol is very good at that, but he's also versatile. He can be the solo laner. He can put a lot of pressure into one particular lane if you do put him there, but I think that Team Conflict will still want to try to draft themselves some sort of solo laner to put in the bot and try to do the 4-man rotation with the Zol. Third strategy that you can do here on Tomb of the Spider Queen that I've seen done is kind of similar to what you can see sometimes on Blackheart's Bay with Zol, where you take the top and the mid rotation and you let Zol rotate that alone, and you put a double support comp with a hyper carry in the bot lane with your tank and 4-man push the bot lane and just put a massive amount of pressure down there. But overall, that's the thing about Zol. He's very versatile. You can do a lot of different things with him. I do think he suffers a little bit in the team fight department, but not as much as he used to. He used to be a lot worse. They kind of buffed him up, and now he's a little bit more viable. Meanwhile, Kael'thas and ETC coming in here. So plenty of CC, plenty of engage potential. Not to mention the wave clear department. Kael'thas, few better than Kael'thas. And I would say that KT is probably one of the only ones that can match up 1v1 against Zol in the double soak department. But let's see where the rest of Team Conflict's draft goes from there. They will ban out the Uther. So not wanting to see the holy cow mosh here from the ETC. Sonya can also be pretty devastating if given a well-timed Divine Shield to be able to go in deep with. So just going to go ahead and say no thank you to the Uther. They do also have Rhaegar already, so still plenty of supports in the bank if they want to go with that double support comp that we've been seeing being so common. Rhaegar also one of the best wave clear heroes in the game, so well, I like to see a lot of wave clear from Team Conflict here really early in this draft. Both teams actually prioritizing it pretty heavily. Do you see the Anubarak ban coming out from late game, though? Not wanting to see those web wraps come out again. They did kind of hurt. You know, you saw the difference maker in the team fighting from when web wrap was used properly on Malthael after the Tormented Souls came out, and then the one time when they were down the 20, and there's Malthael coming out again. So Team Conflict, you know, not wanting to have the counter on the other side to the Malthael. But when they saw it not come out before the Tormented Souls, and then he popped up out of the web wrap and turned around and just so much damage, even down that 20 talent tier, the Tormented Souls. This time it is going to be Team Conflict utilizing that Malthael, but no web wrap to counter it. So we'll have to see what exactly we see coming out from late game, though. Brightwing can be a really solid counter to Malthael. That polymorph can be a really really rough time. It's kind of like a lot like web wrap in the way that it will block the Tormented Souls from having effect during the duration of polymorph. It's just obviously not as long as the potential duration from the web wrap. Lucio and Malthael coming out here, though. So they are going to go with 2 sustained healers, but electing not to go with my fairy dragon buddy. Lucio's healing, though, pretty similar, except after 16 does get that percentage-based healing, which can be really helpful for the double warrior comp. Sonya's health, not quite as high as a lot of warriors, but still high enough to think about whether or not you want that percentage-based health. ETC's health pool also nerfed a little bit back in the day, which made him kind of invisible in the meta for a while after he got those nerfs. I think people started to realize how his armor works a little bit better and started adjusting to that better. I think we saw it coming out of Korea first, but the double support meta really helps him quite a lot. Meanwhile, one last pick coming out here for Team Conflict, and it's going to be Nazebo. So not electing to go with the double support. Instead, going to have double specialist here. Nazebo, I would barely class him as a specialist right now. He does quite a lot of damage, but one thing I will say that I'm not a big fan of in this matchup for Team Conflict's comp is that they have 3 damage over time dealers. Malthael, Nazebo, and Zol all do percentage-based damage, or poison damage, if I'm correct. If I remember correctly. I think Zol's only poison damage might be Poison Nova. But still, there's no burst damage. That's what I'm trying to get to here. It's all sustained damage. And you got Malfurion and Lucio, 2 really, really hefty damage, heal over time healers. They're all about that sustained healing, so it should be a decent counter to the damage coming out from the side of Team Conflict. Should be able to keep them alive long enough to be able to sustain through, and with only 1 healer on the side of Team Conflict, you gotta wonder if they're going to be able to keep themselves alive here. But I guess we shall see. What's up, hero? Everything's going great, man. And I am back to casting here in the NGS. I was very happy to be invited on in to the casting scene for them. But speaking of casting, let's get on in here. Tomb of the Spider Queen. On the left, Team Conflict. Snarky Tiger going to be playing the Malthael. Giant Dwarf on the Nazebo. Takanami is going to be on the Rhaegar Quantakwa. You're going to keep tripping me up with that one on the Muradin. And Mikhailin is going to be playing the Zol. Meanwhile, on the right, already here in the mid lane, late game though, Robin Wiss is going to be on the Kael'thas. Hobbs is going to be on the Malfurion. McCrackazak going to be playing the Sonya. Troth is on ETC this game, and Hype Curtis will be playing the Lucio. So instantly we see Malthael peeling off to the bottom lane. See Snarky Tiger rotating there. McCrackazak will meet him down here. So they are going to go ahead with the standard solo lanes in the bot. And while should be an interesting matchup, Sonya versus Malthael down there. And I already see that health starting to be chunked down on each side. While in the top lane, the 4-man rotation starting up here. Slight rotational advantage so far over to the side of Team Conflict. And this is a combo that I have not seen thrown out before. But I really, really like the concept. Meanwhile, Sonya falling in the bot lane, just barely not able to make it out there. Dying behind the wall. But Zol cleaning up the waves, turning them into those skeletal defenders. And Nazebo also gaining the stacks. So you got two really rotation-heavy heroes here that really like to rotate around and get these, get these minion kills. Giant Dwarf will want to try to rotate a little bit heavier here. Try to keep up with Zol a little bit better because Mikhailin is going to be clearing these waves really well for him, and if he's there to take advantage with the poison damage on those minions, he's going to stack up really well into this late game. We'll have to see. So far, as execution goes, Mikhailin has been rotating really quick and really heavily, and Giant Dwarf's been a little bit behind him here, not getting credit for all of those minions. But we'll sync up here in the mid lane for now. Get credit on most of those minions. Meanwhile, look at the wave push. Already out of ammo here in the mid lane. Top lane's still looking decent. They still got some ammo, but gonna lose some of it right now. Hype Curtis doing what he can, but Lucio's not exactly the hero I think of when I think of good wave clear. In the bottom lane, Snarky Tiger, Krakazak going back and forth. Michael Land. Okay. Michael Land, I got it. I'm gonna mess it up at least once more. You watch, but we're gonna do our best here. Meanwhile, two-man slide into two-man root there. Takanami taking some damage, but dallying Pig Hots, dallying Pig Hearthstone. Thank you for the feedback. I appreciate it. Michael Land taking a lot of damage here from Robin Wiston. He's going to go down to those explosions there. The Kalthos damage is real here. Don't see a lot of KT right now, but again, he's good at the wave clear. Got a lot of spread damage. It's gonna be something that I believe is rough for Rhaegar to have to deal with. But solo assassin Kalthos, no sustained damage dealers really on the side of late game though. Unless you want to count the Sonya, which you could. You count the Sonya for that. I wouldn't blame you. The frontline bruiser going to be putting out some constant damage, but not so much burst. CC chain coming down onto Juan Taka. Michael Land getting hit by the slide here. Trough trying to set up for his team, but not really a whole lot of follow-up. Krakazak will meet him down in the bottom lane, though. Put some extra pressure on him. But all five will be able to make it out to the bot lane. Or am I speaking a little bit too early? The body block's coming in from Trough, but a very nice Bone Prism as the side of Team Conflict turns around and makes him pay for sliding in so deep there. The wave cleared up very quickly by the side of Team Conflict, and they will end up getting a second pick here as, Wantaka barely getting that in there. Meanwhile, all the while, Zol sneakily rotated up to the top here, able to clear that mid wave, and those waves are starting to really push in and hurt against late game, though. Snarky Tiger going in, sticking to Hobbs here. But getting put under a little bit of pressure. We do see that Bone Prism coming down onto Trough. Have to back up for the moment. We'll get that healing though. Healed right up by that double support comp they've got over there. And they will be able to sustain through and get back to the counter rotating. As for gems, big turn in the top there. Almost got enough for late game though, but we do see Snarky Tiger in the bottom lane, able to get that turn in to finish it off, and then we will see the blue Web Weaver spawning here. Level 10, just one level away here for the side of Team Conflict. They do have about a half level lead from the structure damage. You see the Bone Prism coming out yet again to try and peel, but a nice boop there by Hype Curtis. Will put Michael Ann in a weird position, but look at the Nazebo wall. Giant Dwarf putting Hype Curtis right back into a weird position of his own there. Gotta be careful though with Robin Whis and all that AoE damage. Can't clump up too much against this guy. Kel'Thas gonna punish you on that every time, but we do see some quests being finished here. The Moonfire talent gonna be finished for Malfurion. So he's gonna have some good solid extra damage on these Web Weavers just in time to be able to help clear this mid Web Weaver and chunk it down. And we do see full Moonfire build coming out here from Hobbs. Slide coming in on to Quantaka. Is able to Dwarf Toss out at this point.
Shatter their constructs. Deliver the gems to my altar.
Meanwhile, we do see level 10s coming in hot here for Team Conflict. Snarky Tiger going in with that Tormented Souls. They'll be able to get a pretty easy pick there on ETC. All that percentage-based damage really taking them out quickly. And we'll be able to take advantage, push a huge wave into the mid here. But good wave clear coming out here from late game, though. They are able to clear that up pretty quick and save their mid fort for the moment. Oh, meanwhile, big rotation here on to Krakazak. See the Twilight Dream coming out, though, is going to deter Team Conflict for the moment. Everybody hitting their R buttons here. Mosh Pit is still available, though. Whenever they're ready to start that big team fight. A lot of AoE-oriented ults over on the side of late game, though. Wrath of the Berserker going to give Sonya a lot more AoE damage on that Whirlwind and with the Slam. Muradin also finishing his Stormbolt quest there. He'll be dealing a little bit more damage as well. Meanwhile, it is going to be Red Weavers coming out, though. Late game, though. I'm going to get their first turn in and get an opportunity to push back here. They do still have all their forts up. Should even up their chase to level 13 a little bit. They've got a lot of XP stored in these towers. If they can just start to get some of the siege damage out, they can really even this XP disadvantage pretty quick. Phoenix coming out from Robin Whis, trying to get a little bit extra damage to start this off. But we do see the Gargantuan coming out from Giant Dwarf. He's going to be able to walk in and start to pressure onto this Web Weaver. We do see the Wrath of the Berserker has been popped. Krakazak wanting to go in, but not really having the wave to be able to do it. On the side of late game, though, are going to back up for the moment. And still trying to decide if they want to go in here. Stormbolt on a couple of members there from Quantaka. Oh, Snarky Tiger with the Tormented Souls, but the team wasn't ready to go in. Oh, that hurts. And Sound Barrier coming out with the Twilight Dream, and both teams, both teams kind of feeling like they want to get aggressive here, but kind of balking at the last moment. And that hurts. That hurts just a little bit. Now slide and face melt. Muradin will fall. Troth making a nice play, setting up a big kill there for the side of late game though. And now, with Muradin gone, they are going to be able to come on in, get this front wall down, get started on that. Meanwhile, they're going to turn around and look to get their second turn-in of the game. Team Conflict also still having enough gems to be able to get the turn-in, but they're going to be a little bit late to the party here, as Troth will turn in the final 8 that is necessary. And the Web Weavers will be coming out soon to a lane near you. Looks like once again, the side of late game though, going to rotate to the top and start to prioritize that.
Upon the blue team.
We're going to get a couple of the ultimates here. We do see it is going to end up being Skeletal Mages coming out for Zol. Let's see if he pops that to try and deter here in the top. Meanwhile, Malthael split pushing in the bot lane, taking care of that bottom Web Weaver. So 5v4 here on the side of Team Conflict, not wanting to get too aggressive. We do see the Skeletal Mages coming out, going to get a little bit of wave clear and pressure onto that top Web Weaver, but they do get the top fort. And late game though, prioritizing the highest priority lane here on Tomb of the Spider Queen. Top lane does have that boss that can push in later. We're going to go ahead and look to get some damage on this front wall. I want to be careful about overstaying here. Malthael is in the mid, so they do have the opportunity to still take this 4v5. And he actually, Troth will come in with that mosh pit. Not really catching anybody out there, but we do see the turn now coming in from Team Conflict as Snarky Tiger comes down. This time popping that Tormented Souls right in the middle of everybody. Sonya is going to end up going down. They completely split late game though. Have them going in every which direction. Hobbles will get cut off. And we'll run in and draw the ire from Team Conflict, but 2-0 for Team Conflict. And now they can start to look towards this boss. Try and get a little bit of pressure to try to even out this top lane. We'll check in on the stacks for everybody. Looks like pretty much everybody's finishing up those quests at this point in the matchup. And look at the side of late game though. They come in and they are able to successfully shove them off the boss here. Meanwhile, we do oh, there we go. 150 stacks so far for Giant Dwarf, so he's well on his way of finishing that quest in time for level 20. He'll be just fine on that one. There we are with the sound barrier coming out, but still the side of Team Conflict on the retreat, but it will indeed be the Sonya falling first here. Nice turn from Team Conflict as late game though, wanting to force the issue before the level 16s came in. But Team Conflict taking that fight anyway and still able to get the big win. But Snarky Tiger now getting very, very low is going to end up falling to that living bomb there from Robin Wuss. And they are going to also be able to zone out Quantaka here. You do see the dwarf toss out into the mid fort area. He will make it out just fine, but nice recovery from late game though. Ends up being overall being a 1-for-1 exchange, but we'll get the side of late game though a little bit closer to that 16 talent, and they do a nice job of denying that Web Weaver turn in from Team Conflict. Still half a level until they get that 16. And yet again, CC chain coming down onto Quantaka. Done a nice job of getting some damage out on him, putting the pressure, but he will be able to dwarf toss out and be just fine. Sonya capturing the back camp there. I have a little extra pressure in the mid. Meanwhile, the side of late game though, just trying to keep an eye on these turn-ins, trying to get that level 16. Then they'll really be able to force the issue. They get their percentage-based healing from Lucio, which I think will be a really, really big win for them. But they do end up allowing the turn-in here in the bottom turn-in area. The level 16 is here for the defense for late game, though. see the side of Team Conflict prioritizing the bot lane, sending 4 to the bot. They're going to start with a big push here. Web Weavers will be dealt with in the mid by late game, though. Team Conflict quickly taking out that bottom fort. And look, they might be going for more here in the bot lane. See where they go from here if they want to go and try and pressure that top fort. Malfurion being sent to the top lane. Again, with that Moonfire build, does have pretty good wave clear to be able to deal with a Web Weaver wave. But they will end up grouping in this bottom keep area now. Full on 5v5 as they try and siege in with the Web Weaver. Team Conflict's got to be careful not to overstay. They see the Web Weaver being decimated, and they will wisely back out. They do have a lot of good wave clear, but they lack a little bit in the siege department. It's not necessarily one, you have the other. It'd be very hard for them to push in on this team. Meanwhile, Mosh Pit coming in. 3-man Mosh Pit. Ancestral will be able to save Michael for the moment, but a lot of damage coming out from late game, though. Not able to finish them out in the Mosh Pit, but we'll be able to clean it up afterwards with 3 kills going over to the side of late game, though. Snarky Tiger and Kakinami going to be left alive to tell the tale. And now with that 3 for nothing, late game, though, going to look towards the boss in the top lane. Could end up being a keep play for them. They do have the double support to be able to bring them up. Lots of siege damage. Be able to lay down both onto this boss and then potentially onto the keep after. Meanwhile, the members of Team Conflict going to rotate to the bottom here. Grab at least to the bottom siege camp. So it's something that Team Conflict won't want to ignore forever. Siege Giants are going to be sauntering in towards that exposed bottom keep. But right now, the side of late game, though, not really wanting to prioritize pushing with the boss. So we are going to see a free clear coming in from Team Conflict. But the boss is still going to do a nice job chunking down this keep. It's going to be close. Looks like it's going to be a little bit short. But the slam will come down. And we'll get one more melee. And wow, yeah, very close. Almost got it, actually. That was a lot closer than I thought it was going to be. Meanwhile, the Web Weaver wave coming in with a minion wave here in the top. Oh, yeah, and all 5 members of late game, though. And they're going to have this down before the Web Weaver even drops. Now, it looks like they might be looking to end here. They don't have 20, but right now they do have a lot of siege damage potential. The double flame strike from Robin Wuss online after that 16, and the double support to try to sustain. A little bit of a whiff there. Does actually hit Snarky Tiger there with that Twilight Dream. And Quantak one a little out of here, out of the element here. But we'll go back in with that Avatar Dwarf tossing into the Mosh Pit. Mosh Pit does hit Michael originally, but they are able to turn around and kill him, and it's going to be a 3 for nothing as not quite able to keep themselves alive here. They do get a lot of damage out onto the core, but it's not going to be quite enough as Sonya will end up falling here. And wait just a moment, folks, because this Web Weaver's cleared. Level 20's online for Team Conflict, and they're going to be looking to rotate towards the bottom. They did open up that keep earlier, so they do have the opportunity to try and go keep here. 30 seconds still on the clock, and this should be the end if it's played correctly here for Team Conflict. They are going to be able to go directly onto this, and look what just came online here with level 20. Nazebo also getting that quest finished for his stacks, so he's going to be able to put out some extra damage. It does look like the side of late game, though, is going to be alive in time to be able to try to mount the defense for their core, but there's going to be quite a bit of damage on it. Looks like the shields are going to be down, but here comes the cavalry. Late game, though, will be able to come in. The slide interrupted there by the roots. 75% down on the core. Twilight Dream coming out. They are able to blow up Rhaegar. 60% on the core as Muradin dies. 3 left to try and kill this. Is this a double core throw? 40%. on the core as Giant Dwarf will fall. Snarky Tiger still alive, but does not have the best siege damage, cannot survive against the 5. And this is going to be a double core throw. And now, with the catapults pushing into top, it's going to be a pretty simple thing for late game, though, to go ahead and march their way through to the top lane. And they're going to be able to capture the win as Team Conflict. A little bit overzealous. They did try to get through that keep, but not quite able to get through the bottom keep and the core in time. And these guys will end up splitting this one 1-for-1. Very entertaining game, but 1-for-1 on the series. Both teams will walk away with a point, and we are one game closer here in the C division to figuring out who will make the playoffs and where everyone will be placed. Congratulations to both of these teams walking away with a win. And definitely some very entertaining games coming out from both of these teams. They both played pretty well. I feel like in this game it could have definitely gone, obviously could have gone either way. But both teams maybe hitting the panic button a little bit and going in a little bit too early. A little bit of greed on both sides, but just happened to work out there for late game though. It was a pretty competitive first game as well, so both of these teams definitely showing they're pretty evenly matched. And, I mean, 11 kills to 11 kills. Doesn't get much more competitive than that. Yeah, Z, double late game throw, as a matter of fact. But, yeah, congratulations to both of these teams. I'll be looking forward to seeing where everybody falls in the C Division playoff once we are finished with it. Again, I believe it's after tomorrow night. I think we have one last match coming in tomorrow night. And in the meantime, that is going to do it for me tonight, guys. Happy that NGS has invited me to come in and cast for them. It's been quite a fun first couple of days, and I'll be planning on trying to pick up some more games in the future for NGS. As always, you can find all of my matches casted live here and then in the VODs here on Twitch. You can also check out my YouTube channel to be able to see all of my previously casted matches. And that's going to do it for me tonight, guys. For the Nexus Gaming Series, I am Jayzon. Have a good night.